The disciples are looking at each other and they're thinking the same. Who's going to do it? We don't see a servant around, so who's going to take the servant's place? So as they are looking at each other, James is looking at Peter, Peter is looking at John, John is looking at Bartholomew. As all this is happening, Jesus stands up, girds himself, and goes around washing the disciples' feet. I can only imagine their awe, their amazement when they saw Jesus doing what a servant was supposed to do. Peter's turn comes, and as he is outspoken, he says, "No, no, Lord, you shouldn't be doing this." And John chapter 13 tells us something very interesting. This is what Jesus said: "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me." And this is very interesting. Jesus, who is not supposed to be the servant, takes this role, and on top of that says that those who do not allow him to wash their feet have no part with him. But before this, the fact that Jesus, according to John chapter 13, laid aside his garments and girded himself to wash the disciples' feet has a very interesting theological connotation. I don't want to get too deep, but just think for a moment. Isn't this what Jesus experienced or decided to do in heaven? He laid aside his glory, his power, in order to come to earth and gird himself with humanity. But anyway, I just want to share that thought with you and just leave it at that so that you can think about it later on. But going back to the devotional thought for this morning, John chapter 13, we see that Jesus was not supposed to be the servant, but he's the servant. Peter says, "Hey, how are you doing this?" And then Jesus said, "If I don't do it, you have no part with me." Then Jesus forgives Peter. I think we're going to the other extreme. Then just go for the whole thing. Peter said, "Just give me a bath, give me a shower." And Jesus said, "There's no need, Peter. There's no need." But I want us to focus on Jesus' words in John chapter 13, verses 12, 13, 14, and 15. I just want to read those verses for you. "So when he had washed their feet and taken his garments and reclined at the table again, he said to them, 'Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right, for so I am. If I then, the Lord and the teacher, washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I gave you an example that you should also do as I did to you.'" I'm sharing with you this Bible passage, John chapter 13, verses 12 to 15, because I think this is a great reminder of who we are as Christians, as Seventh-day Adventist people. We are called to be like Christ. We are called to be like Jesus. And that means that we should be willing to do things that other people might not expect us to do. The disciples were looking at each other thinking, who is going to do it? Who is going to wash our feet? And Jesus, the last person in the room that was supposed to do this, according to the Bible, laid aside his garments and girded himself to do what no one wanted to do. In order to make this a little bit more practical, maybe at our workplace, maybe in the classroom, maybe in our family, no one wants to do that thing that we all believe a servant should do. But what if the Lord is calling you and me to take the role of servants and do what no one wants to do. And this concept, this idea of humility applies to every sphere in life. Let's say that there's a problem. You have a problem with someone, and you are the one who was wronged, the one who got hurt. You are the victim. But what if the Lord is calling you, even though you're the victim, to be the humble one, to reestablish that connection with this particular person who thinks, I'm not going to do it, but maybe the Lord is calling you and me to be humble and to go there and restore that relationship. I know that it is a cultural thing in Asia that normally we don't talk about problems or we don't solve problems. But when I go to the Bible, I can see that even though Jesus was not culturally expected to go around washing his disciples' feet, he did it anyway. So this morning, I want to invite you to do what is right when it comes to humility. It doesn't matter who is right or who is wrong, but what matters is who follows Jesus' example. And you know what's funny? That sometimes we wait, I would say, till the moment of the food washing ceremony to say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Or maybe we don't even say anything. Maybe we just say, can I wash my feet with you? Or can I wash your feet? I think we don't need to wait till that day to make something that is wrong right. We just need to pray and we just need to ask God, dear Father, I want to be like your Son, Jesus Christ. I want to put aside my garments and I want to gear myself as a servant and do what your Son, Jesus Christ, did on earth and what, of course, He wants me to do.